All right, so to kind of bring this analogy together that I was working with for you guys. All right, so we're talking about this concept of shifting your life, excuse me, shifting your life and making a change. And we're looking at it in terms of fitness, but it really applies the same for everything. So the analogy that I was using was, imagine you're on a windy plain, there's winds blowing, you're digging a hole, and you're trying to get out, but all you have is a shovel and that's it, right? Just the dirt below your feet. So your first thought is, well, I don't have anything to protect myself, so if I dig beneath the surface, right, now I can get out of the wind. So I want you to think about this for a second, right? It sounds really simple, but as you start to dig, as you start to work, that wind is still blowing, that sand's going to get in your eyes, actually even more. It's going to be even crazier for that period of time. But eventually you're going to get so low, it's going to be that point where it's like you're just starting to get beneath the surface. You can duck down, you can get out of the wind, you can get into your shelter and get yourself out of the elements. But that process to get through there, it's almost like you had to go through the fire. You had to go through, the fury, the tunnel, literally the tunneling process to get there, to get to that safety. So it's the same thing, when we think about this transformation process or the workout timeline, so it's the same thing. It's like essentially you're going to have to throw everything into that change at the start and go through this period of transition that might be a little uncomfortable. You might get that sand in your eyes. You might feel the sting of like, oh man, like this is getting worse. This is getting harder. I'm feeling like, I'm making progress, but at the same time, it's this weird double-edged sword, right? But the point being is, I want you to think of the analogy is, once you finally start to break underneath that ground level of like safety and protection, what we'll call it, is like you're where your body is also starting to make that adaptation. Well, that's the key component, because once you hit that point, now you're starting to realize, well, your work's paid off, and now you actually can almost rest in the opposite polarity of like, okay, I can get out of the elements, I can allow myself to rest, I can get down, and now you can just keep expanding until you have literally, you've created, the ideal setup for yourself. You've created the ideal shelter, the ideal living space, right? And this is in terms of your body. This is what happens after a certain time. Now your body's running very efficiently. You've put in the work to get to the point where it's going to actually benefit you. Now it's going to start protecting you. It's going to actually help you have more energy, help you get further along in that process. But what happens is a lot of people start getting down into the elements, so to speak. Imagine again that wind just whipping across the plains, and you're digging and you're trying to get down underneath and get to shelter. That first period is hell. It's hell week, okay? And that's why when you go into things like basic training or the Army, they put you through this experience, because that's life in a nutshell. When I played sports, that's what we did. We went for a week and just got our ass kicked. And you came out the other side knowing you just got through it. And that one simple task taught me more than almost anything ever in life, that I could just continue moving forward, moving on, and getting through the things I need to in my life to get to the next level, okay? All right, so we got the sunlight streaming in here, guys. Just wanted to wrap up and amend that previous short I had been working on. So if you popped over here, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. And again, just think about for this summer or for even this coming year, I want you to think about that transition as like you're throwing everything you have at it off the bat. It might not at first feel super comfortable, and if anything, it's going to feel different, the opposite, uncomfortable, and it's going to take some getting used to. But remember, you're going to have this point where you do break through. And again, even once, people have broken through, they hit plateaus, well, there's still always another level. There's another breakthrough. There's another, aspect that you can add to make that living space, that house, that, your temple. Your body is your temple. You can begin to decorate it more and more, make it more and more ornate, right? And it's not necessarily out of vanity, but this is the concept I'm trying to give you guys, is just out of, really like cleanliness in the most simplest way, right? Because before we even had a lot of ornate things, it was just about simplicity and cleanliness to keep a space balance. That's what the whole feng shui and chiaroscuro balance of positive and negative space, positive and negative energy. All right, if I pronounce that correctly, from my 7th grade humanities or art class, whichever it was. But anyway, guys, thanks again for tuning in. Stick around. We got a lot more fun stuff coming. But think about this in terms of your transition, in terms of building that new physique or that new lifestyle or that new nutrition protocol. All ties in together. It's all about making that shift, making that push, breaking through, and then again, the mechanism is going to start supporting you far more, and the gains will eventually become noticeable. They'll become tangible. They'll pay off. But that first process is it's where it's all made, wherever you are. If you're just jumping back into it, or if it's the first time you're trying to make that breakthrough in your life. So take that with you guys today. See you soon. All right. Thanks for tuning in.